Welcome to today's video. This is a quick tutorial on how to squat using column core training, and we'll kind of describe that as we go along. I'm Bob Kaler, inventor of the Kaler core and column core training, and this is Mike St. George, who is my first certified physical therapist on column core training. So today we're going to actually go through a simple squat assessment, things that I look at with athletes, and Mike does the same, to see how the athlete is moving when they do a squat. And specifically, we're looking at what the spine does when they're doing the squat. So we're going to do a quick assessment that you could do at home or in a clinic, where we're going to have Mike just put his arms out in front of him. We're going to have you step over this way, Mike. And so we're going to have a counterbalance weight. So we're going to put the arms out in front. So we're going to look at how the spine moves as Mike drops down to a squat. We'll probably just go to about 90 degrees or so. So we're just looking at what's happening in the spine here. So, and then we'll stand back up. The next one we'll have the arms crossed on the chest, and we'll do the same thing. We're just going to drop down and squat. So we're looking at any movement, either flexing or extending the back as they drop down, and then we'll come back up. And then we're going to, the third test we'll do is bring the hands behind the head. Good. And then come back up. So one of the errors that we find with athletes is hyperextension. So as they're dropping down the back, we'll actually extend more. And that's only happening because the athlete doesn't actually know how to stabilize their abdominal system to stop the back from moving. So if we had, let's say, 100 foot-pounds of force on the back muscles, we need 100 foot-pounds of force on the abdominal system to stop the back from actually moving. And that's an error we find pretty common with athletes. They actually move their spine frequently when they do any movement, which leads to most injuries. So we were going to try to clarify that today by getting the athlete to understand what it is to start to create this new map where the spine becomes a controlling system. And when we're talking about the spine, it's really from the Adam's apple to the tailbone. So it's basically 20 vertebrae or pieces that can move or not. So the column core training system is starting to teach them how not to move the spine when they move their arms and legs. That that gets the best results. So we're going to have Mike jump on here, and we're going to do something we would do with the athletes, which is really to start to get that activation going. So we're just going to pull the handles down. And so we'll start with the arms up and over the head. So there's tension on this. Will get greater as the hands come down towards the floor. Back's kind of in that ideal spine position where we're standing up straight. We're going to now have Mike just swing his arms down to parallel to the floor, and then he's going to just sit down to a squat while he's bringing the arms with him. So that's going to create a lot of abdominal activation, and it's going to start to teach the athlete how not to use their spine as a mover anymore, but to make it a controlling system, and then come back up. So when we see traditional core work in the gym, a lot of it is actually moving spine core work, which teaches you what athletes are already good at. We need to start to teach them how to make their back what I call a master controller or non-mover, so we can wake up these opposing muscles in the legs, hip flexors, hamstrings, isometric abdominal strength. Those are all important factors in optimizing sports performance. So we'll drop the hands down. So here, the column feedback system here, this column system starts to help the spine learn how to be like a steel column or a steel bar versus a 20-piece moving chain. So we don't want those 20 vertebrae moving the whole time while we're dropping into a squat. We'll swing down one more time. So here, first step is to get this isometric contraction. I need the same foot-pounds of force on both sides of the spine. And since the abdominal system is about 8, 10, 12 inches away from the spine, it's at a disadvantage versus the spine muscles, which are right on the spine. And we'll move it if you don't have the isometric equality in force as we drop down. We'll pause and hold. So we'll hold for like 5 seconds. So we're trying to get the athlete to start to feel this activation and understand what it feels like to move the legs and arms around a non-moving back system. And we'll do one more. So there's a multitude of ways we can apply the column core training to an athlete to build this new map. This is a great way to start to assess. So take a look at your own squat and see how your body moves. One of the tests that I do with athletes, good, you can pause there, is to do that squat that Mike was doing with the hands behind the head, feet about 4 inches from the wall or closer, and see if you can get all the way down without your shoulders rocking forward over your feet. So anyway, thanks for letting us share this column core move of the week. This is a good way to start to assess squat mobility and squat power and strength, and start to get the platform going in the right direction for each athlete that we see and work with.